Hello everyone, and welcome to the webinar on research collaboration between King Abdulaziz University and Cambridge. I am Mona Sabir, an Associate Professor of Applied Linguistics from the English Language Institute at King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. My focus today in this webinar is a research collaboration between the English Language Institute and Cambridge. Now, in the first year, we focused on 4 projects. The first project revolves around learners' interaction with English language teaching materials in online classes. The second project is about building a learner corpus for Saudi students of English. The third project is about the alignment of KAU preparatory courses with the Common European Framework of Reference Standards. And finally, the last project is an exploration of teachers' beliefs and practices of teaching writing using Cambridge course materials. Now, in this webinar, I will briefly summarize each project and the approach for the overall research collaboration. Starting with Project 1, exploration of learners' interaction with content in Saudi EFL online classes. Now, to determine the success or lack of success of teaching and learning practices in online education, there are many key areas to be examined and considered. Now, one of which is interaction, which is classified by the Online Learning Consortium as one of the key components of online learning effectiveness. According to Hawk 2020, interaction in online classes was one of the biggest challenges of e-learning to a lot of teachers in the Saudi context. Therefore, the study is motivated to examine the nature of learners' interaction with content in FL classes, and the project is guided by Moore's model of interaction, which focuses on 3 categories of interaction, which are learner-learner interaction, learner-teacher interaction, and learner-content interaction. As I mentioned, this project examines mainly learner content interaction. The research questions under this project are what challenges, what is the nature of learners' interaction with content in Saudi EFL classes? The second question is what challenges do teachers face to facilitate learners' interaction with content in their online classes? The third question revolves around the strategies and the practices that teachers use to overcome any challenges. And finally, the fourth question is about students' perception of their experience with their interaction with content in online classes. Now, the project follows a 2-stage exploratory mixed methods design. In the first stage, data will be collected via classroom observations, followed by interviews with observed teachers and also separate focus groups for both teachers and students. Now, second, and after being informed by the data collected from the classroom observations and the focus groups, a survey instrument will be designed and distributed to both teachers and students. It is actually hoped that the findings of this project will inform language teachers, practitioners, and also policymakers with regards to effective teaching strategies that promote the interaction between learners and content, and thus leading to better learning. Now, the second project, which is actually building in the English Language Institute, henceforth the ELI Learner Corpus. This project actually was an initiative by researchers at the English Language Institute, and it was to build a corpus using learner data produced by students enrolled at the Institute. The motivation behind this project is to provide researchers and language professionals with a wealth of representative, systematically error-coded learner language that could inform language research and also could inform teaching, curriculum and material design, and that could also be useful to inform language assessment. Now, such learner data could particularly be used to also develop tools of language learning and to inform lexicographers and ELT authors of textbooks. Now, to build the ELI corpus, actually, a pilot corpus of text written by ELI students will be compiled. The learners' proficiency level range between A1 to B1 on the Common European Framework of Reference, which corresponds to elementary to intermediate proficiency levels. Again, the project will be conducted across 2 phases. Now, in the first phase of the corpus, there will be a compilation of a pilot phase. And then in the second phase, here comes the large corpus compilation. Now, in both phases, there are procedures to be followed, which are compilation, organization, storage, and tagging. Now, by compilation, we refer to conducting random selections of responses from each level and in each track under the ELI or the English Language Institute programs. And then organization entails the conversion of the selected responses to text files, as well as adding structural reference information such as the academic year, for example, the module number, and academic track, the level, and numerical identifiers. The storage stage refers to uploading the organized files to a cloud storage tagged for learners that is accessible for by the research team. And finally, the tagging stage involves taking care of specific details pertaining to the types of errors, and that will be decided and devised during this tagging stage. Now, the ELI corpus will provide valuable data to language professionals, both locally and globally, that could be used to better understand the developmental stages of language learners. The initial stage of the project is estimated to be completed within a year. Once completed, further learner data will be added to the corpus. Now, project 3, which is about exploring the CEFR youth in the Saudi context in order to align the preparatory year courses with this standard. Now, this exploratory study aims to explore whether students meet the CEFR benchmark, in this case, the B1 level, when exiting the preparatory year program. Now, we are aware that we are aware of the significance of achieving the intermediate level B1 upon the completion of the preparatory year program to facilitate the students' college entry and foster the learning process as well, especially at colleges that use English as a medium of instruction. Now, the study will be conducted in 2 phases. In phase 1, 300 students who are currently at level 4, which is the last level in the program, and who were actually initially placed in level 1 and 2 upon the admission to the program, will be recruited. And the participants' proficiency level against the CEFR will be evaluated using the LinguaSkill test, which is a test from Cambridge. Now, LinguaSkill test is an online modular test that assesses reading, listening combined, and also writing and speaking. And it will be administered towards the end of the program and prior to the students' exit of the program. And the test will be conducted online in computer labs, equipped with the internet connection, microphones, of course, and headphones and everything that's required. And it will approximately take 160 minutes. Now, once the results of phase 1 are interpreted, focus groups will be formulated for phase 2. And in phase 2, the perceptions of a subset of phase 1 participants and ELI teachers will be explored via the focus groups. Now, by evaluating students' language learning progress against the CEFR and explaining the possible factors that contribute to the student's progress or non-progress within the Saudi EFL context, this study would enhance the CEFR implementation in the Saudi EFL local context. And furthermore, it aims to offer recommendations for authorities and policymakers to improve the students' proficiency level to meet the international standards. The last project is an exploration of teachers' beliefs and practices of teaching writing using unlock course books. Now, research on how certain course books are used to teach a specific skill are limited or is limited in this regard. So the project or the objectives and what the study aims to investigate is the relationship between teachers' beliefs and their practices when using course books to teach writing, the differences and all the similarities between their beliefs and practices using the course book for teaching writing, whether face-to-face or in online classes. And finally, the project further investigates the weaknesses and the strengths identified in the course books. Now, to address this study, research questions, this exploratory research project will be informed by the interpretive paradigm. And the most essential feature of this inquiry is that different meanings individuals attach to their actions. People might believe something and which is not reflected in their actions and vice versa. Now, the instruments that are used to collect data are pre-observation interviews, writing classroom observations, post-observation interviews, and finally, surveys. Now, this is a brief introduction to the research collaboration between the ELI and Cambridge. And I hope that I can meet you again next year when the results of the 4 projects are finalized, so that I can share them with you and that we can discuss the implications of these findings for the language classroom. And thank you very much for listening.